It is so exciting to be together. I got my Bible open. Do you? Make sure you know I'm not making this stuff up. We are in Acts chapter 9 this week. We are studying the life and the conversion of the Apostle Paul. This week is entitled Jesus Saves, and wow, does he ever. He is absolutely changing lives, and we pray he is changing lives again, even as you are watching right now. May he do that in all of us. Again, we are studying one of the most significant events in the history of the church, without exaggeration. Again, the conversion of the Apostle Paul, who was Saul, who later became Paul. Again, the world would never be the same by this one conversion, again, done by Jesus Christ, again, through this one man. So we're going to unpack his story. The first thing, though, I want us to see, and our first point for this week is this. We have to know it didn't start in a good place. This amazing conversion, though, started, listen, with a heart full of hate. Saul was his name, and he was not a happy man. He was filled with violence and with hate. You see, where do you get that from? I always get it from the Bible. Acts 9, verses 1 and 2. Take a listen here. But Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord. He hated Christians. He hated Jesus. Notice, he went to the high priest and he wanted to get the highest permission in the Jewish court to do what he did. He received that. Why? So that if anyone was found belonging to the way, men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. Okay, so what we learn from verses 1 and 2, Paul, he had a full-time job. His full-time job was the persecution leading to the destruction of the church. Do you see the effort that he was willing to go to? I mean, again, he set aside all this other time. He spent his whole day trying to see the church destroyed. He went to the effort to get permission from the high priest. Then he was even willing to travel to Damascus. He ravaged the church in Jerusalem. We see that in Acts chapter 8. Ravaging the church means like a wild animal tearing the flesh apart. But he wasn't satisfied with that. He even went to Damascus, two foreign cities, 250 kilometers away, to gather Christians, to bind them and drag them back to Jerusalem to be killed or put in prison. Who does that? What kind of effort do you have to be motivated by, again, or motivated with the effort to see these kind of results? But this is what Saul was doing. This is how much violence and hate he had within him. You know, as Saul was doing this and persecuting the church, I have to wonder that he must have wondered, like, what's up with these Christians? Why won't they give up? Like, how do they keep going? Where do they get their strength? Don't you think he wondered that? Like, we're killing them, we're putting them in prison, but they won't give up. Where do they get their strength from? And Saul was going to find out very soon, up close and personal, just where those who followed, again, Christ got their strength from. So I want to just read this. It's going to conclude this segment right here. In verses 4 and 5, it says this. So as he's going to Damascus, a light from heaven shines around him. It says, and falling to the ground, he heard a voice saying, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? And he said, who are you, Lord? And he says, I am Jesus whom you are persecuting. You know what Saul found out in this text? When you persecute the church, listen, when you persecute the church, you persecute Christ himself. You cannot separate Jesus from the church. The church is Jesus. Jesus is the church. And this is the Jesus that would change his life forever. Now, Saul started so much anger, honestly, so much hate. Maybe even you're watching right now, and for whatever reason in life, different circumstances, you relate to Saul. You are filled with anger, and you are filled with hate too. Saul was confronted with the light, never the same again. Can you be confronted with the light today? Prayer lines, number on the screen right there. Call us as God works in your life for the love and light of Jesus Christ to start to melt the hate, maybe the anger, and you will see him work powerfully. May it be so. Can't wait to see you tomorrow.